Good morning to all the dignitaries and invitees. On behalf of Samarth Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited, I extend a warm welcome to all for the inauguration of GMP compliant therapeutic cell culture facility. A special welcome to Dr. Anil Kakodkar Sir, Padma Vibhushan, Chairman, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, AICTE Distinguished Chair, Professor, and former Chairman, Atomic Energy Commission. We shall now start our program with few words about the trust, Shri Vithalrao Joshi Charities Trust, which is a major support behind Samarth Krupa Life Sciences. I request Shri Vikas Valavalkar Sir, the Managing Trustee of Shri Vithalrao Joshi Charities Trust, to address the audience.
Good morning to Dr. Kakodkar sir, all invitees and my colleagues. Today is an important day for our company, Samarth Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited, since its GMP compliant therapeutic cell culture facility is being inaugurated. This facility has been created in the campus of BKL Valavalkar Rural Medical College in Ratnagiri district of southern Maharashtra. As the name of the college suggests, this area falls in predominantly rural area of Konkan region of Maharashtra, which is a very scenic one. The campus has been surrounded on three sides by lush green Sahyadri mountains, and to that extent, the cell culture facility has its uniqueness of location. Since this facility has been created in the campus of Medical College, which is run by Shri Vithalrao Joshi Charities Trust, I feel it's important to give a brief idea to the esteemed audience about the trust and its activities. About 52 years ago, a social experiment began at this place in the heart of Konkan with a vision of all-round development of strong and capable society that can lead to a strong and prosperous country. And to fulfill this vision, our Guruji, Sri Sahajananda Saraswati Maharaj, initiated a novel experiment under the organizations Sri Santa Sitaram Bua Valavalkar Charitable Trust and Sri Vithalrao Joshi Charities Trust. Since inception, both these trusts have been involved in carrying on charitable activities in social, educational and medical fields. Though Sri Sahajananda Saraswati Maharaj was a saintly personality and was of the opinion that ultimate goal of any human being is self-realization, he also believed in Ashanam Vasanam Vasaha Yesham Chaiva Vyavasthitam Magadena Samakashi Ganga Api Angara Vahini. Meaning that to give spiritual lectures on self-attainment to persons whose even basic needs of food, clothing and shelter have not been fully satisfied will not yield any fruits, since for these people, Magad, that is a state of anarchy, and Kashi, a very holy state, are no different. Or for them, even a sacred river like Ganga is like a river flowing embers. In short, for them, spirituality or lectures on humanity are of no consequence unless efforts are directed first to satisfy their basic human needs such as food, clothing, shelter, and also education, health, employment, etc. And on these principles, the trust activities are being carried on for the last 50 years. During this journey, a need was felt to provide modern medical treatment to the financially weaker sections of our society, particularly to those who are from this region, at rates affordable to them, and that too at their doorsteps. And with this objective in mind, Sri Vithalrao Joshi Charities Trust commissioned a 60-bedded hospital in February 1996. This hospital was later on expanded to 300 beds and now has been further expanded to 650 beds. The hospital has full-fledged diagnostic center and all other latest facilities, including a cath lab, MRI, CT scan, and now ICMR approved COVID testing virology lab. The purpose behind establishing Valavalkar Hospital is not only to provide medical treatment to the needy patients, but also to create awareness among rural population about their health. And on this front, many social projects are undertaken by Valavalkar Hospital, like Laddu Gopal Yojana, Sudama Yojana, Yashoda Yojana, Sukanya Yojana, etc. All these yojanas are designed for betterment of adolescent girls, expecting mothers and newborn babies. Trust also runs CBSE affiliated English medium school. Presently 900 students are studying here from junior college to 12th standard level. The aim behind running this college is not only to impart modern education to the students, but also to inculcate sanskars in them, so that these students become not only educated, but also good human beings in true sense. The trust also runs Samartha Institute of Nursing, mainly with an objective to provide education in nursing to the young girls of this area, whereby these girls are trained in nursing and then are absorbed in urban hospitals and become economically independent. Trust also runs a modern sports academy for the benefit of the children in this area, with facilities of swimming pool, 400-meter, 8-lane running track, athletic ring, indoor shooting range, and gymnastic hall. All these projects are run by the trust, have brought in huge change in the development and well-being of people of surrounding area. However, the biggest change has happened after establishment of medical college by the trust in the year 2015. This idea of establishing medical college was suggested by Sri Kakodkar Sahib, who is the guest of honor for today's function, as well as the chairman of our scientific advisory committee, and we always take his advice for all our research activities. Our hospital is an outreach center of Tata Memorial Center, and TMC comes under the Department of Atomic Energy. In that connection, Dr. Kakodkar sir had then visited this hospital, and after seeing the campus, he had then suggested that we should start a medical college, since it gives major boost to the health infrastructure of the area, which ultimately benefits common people in many ways and also raises economic development of the entire region. Today we experience that his words have come true. Health infrastructure and economic development of this area in the last 6 years is many times more than what it was prior to establishment of medical college. We will always remain grateful to Dr. Kakodkar sir for this important and timely suggestion. Thank you, Dr. Kakodkar. To further extend the medical services to the community efficiently and effectively, we are emphasizing on solving local problems with local solutions with the help of in-house multidisciplinary research and innovation. To fulfill this need, we started Samartha Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited, a startup, in 2018. Samartha Krupa Life Sciences is concentrating on carrying out state-of-the-art research and developing innovative solutions to the medical conditions and commercializing it for sustainability. Today, its GMP-compliant therapeutic cell culture facility is being inaugurated. Thank you. I conclude here, and now I hand over the mic to Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, Director of Samartha Krupa Life Sciences, who will talk about some of the research activities. Thank you.
Good morning, friends. Honored invitees, guests. It's a rare privilege and honor to be here this morning amongst such an august audience. I'm Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, a spine surgeon by profession and director of Samartha Krupa Life Sciences. Samartha Krupa Life Sciences has been concentrating on research activities that provide innovative solutions to local problems. Our USP is taking high quality research to the bedside as quickly as possible. This endeavor puts us in a unique position wherein we have medical services through a rural hospital, social connect through our outreach programs, which thankfully in the first cancer control program implemented here, we have a good outreach activity. Medical education and research through the Rural Medical College, and innovative product development through our startup, which are all under one roof in Savarde. At SKLS, we are currently developing solutions for variety of problems associated with hospital services, medical devices, and other disease-related conditions. To give a snapshot, during the COVID pandemic, we developed a low-cost sanitizer based on cold plasma and atomized hydrogen peroxide through ultrasonic nebulization. This device effectively sterilizes medical and other equipment in a very short time and with very little operational cost when compared to chemical sterilization. This provides a unique product to sterilize various expensive instruments such as endoscopes that otherwise cannot be sterilized in a regular hot sterilizer. During the pandemic, we also worked on a mucosal SIGA-based immunity. Our surmise on asymptomatic COVID patients having a strong mucosal immunity led us to develop methodologies to objectively assess and to protect from and treat COVID. Back and neck pain is a universal problem, especially with the advent of handheld devices. During lockdown, increased use of digital devices for online work and study, both by young and old, has made this even worse. The overwhelming pathology of this problem is a structural failure of the intervertebral disc, resulting in a steady loss of disc tissue. This is a very unique tissue. The commonest spine surgery is the removal of this herniated disc tissue. Over 1 million of these are done every year in most countries. Over the last 2 decades, we have evolved an endoscopy-guided surgical technique to allow us to do this under local anesthesia without any stitches. We can further improve the long-term functionality of the disc by introducing autologous regenerative cells back into the patient, as being attempted all over the world. We have been successful in recovering regenerative cells from disc fragments which are normally discarded. These cells can be reintroduced in the damaged disc of the same patient to regain disc functionality. I would here like to emphasize the novelty of our study is that we have been able to stop using the commonly used and very expensive and imported clinical grade fetal bovine serum to grow these cells. We have successfully grown these disc cells in human platelet lysate, prepared using outdated platelets from licensed blood banks. This will not only prevent the possibility of zoonotic infections, but also gives us an opportunity for good import substitution. With the help of the GMP facility, we will be able to carry out clinical trial in accordance with international standards and regulations. While carrying out this work, we have developed many successful techniques that will impact tissue culture research in other areas too. With the help of this facility, we look forward to making forays in other areas of using this technology for well-being of patients effectively and, more importantly, in an affordable manner. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request Dr. Rita Mullerkar Madam to take over.
Good morning. So today our chief guest for the function is Dr. Renu Swaroop, Secretary to Government of India, Department of Biotechnology. However, due to an urgent meeting with Honorable Minister, she's unable to join us just now. However, she was kind enough to inaugurate the therapeutic cell culture facility earlier today and delivered her words of encouragement, which we will try to play later on. Before that, I'll just introduce Dr. Renu Swaroop very briefly. Dr. Renu Swaroop, Secretary, Government of India, Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, has actively contributed in the formulation of India's biotechnology vision and strategy. She is credited with the establishment of India's largest microbial resource called Microbial Culture Collection. To acknowledge her support in microbial diversity research in India and simplifying provisions of the Biological Diversity Act 2002, a newly discovered microbial species, Natrialba swaroopi, has been named in her honor by the National Center for Cell Sciences. In addition to her current role, she holds the position of Chairperson, Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, called BIRAC, a public sector company incorporated by the Government of India to promote research and innovation in the biotech enterprise with special focus on startups and SMEs. Dr. Renu Swaroop has served in the Department of Biotechnology for more than 30 years. And at the department, she has overseen national programs on bioresource development and utilization, spatial characterization of biodiversity, second generation bioethanol and drugs from microbes, and the National Biopharma Mission. She was instrumental in formulating the biotechnology vision in 2001, National Biotechnology Development Strategy in 2007, and she has been a member on this expert committee. She has been a great supporter of women scientists and has been involved in several initiatives that encourage participation of women in science and technology. She initiated a DBT scheme called Biotechnology Career Advancement for Women Scientists, BioCare, of which I have been a member. She has been a member of the Task Force on Women in Science, constituted by the Scientific Advisory Committee to the Prime Minister. She is also a member of the Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World. Under her leadership, the Department of Biotechnology is playing a key role in developing technology solutions for COVID-19. I think we'll try to play the recorded inauguration program, which took place at about 10:30 this morning. Let me introduce my colleagues who are here with me this morning. So we have with us Shri Vikas Valavalkar, who's the Managing Trustee, Shri Vittal Rao Joshi Charities Trust, and Director, Samarth Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited. SVJCT is one of the major supports behind SKLS. Also present is Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, who is the director, who's a renowned spine surgeon and also director of SKLS.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mulherkar, Dr. Nadkarni, Vikas, and all those who are here. It's such a pleasure to be here today to inaugurate this facility. And I'm more than happy to inaugurate this on this very important activity that you're taking forward.
Thank you very much, Dr. Renu.
So thank you very much, Dr. Molirkar. And as I said, Dr. Kakodkar, Dr. Nadkarni, Dr. Mr. Vikas, and all those who are associated with the setting up of this very important facility today. First of all, my sincere compliments to all of you and my good wishes for this facility to move forward in this very ambitious plan that you have already set out. I have gone through the details of your facility and I see that as a startup company, you all have worked so closely with the clinical research group, with your engineering group, and also with your team of surgeons and doctors who are taking it forward. I think this itself is an wonderful indication of how you are taking ahead interdisciplinary sciences for product development, which is going to be for affordable products, which are for important for society. The area that you are also currently focusing on in this particular facility is so important because when we talk about seeing how you could bring in these affordable solutions into many of these, in this particular case, you're talking about an orthopedic issue. I think this is really where you are looking at the application of science, technology, engineering coming forward. And in your particular case, you are looking at the cells which could grow in the human platelets, I said, instead of the fetal bovine serum. And I think this is very, very important. You're transitioning into the new phase of technology development, something which is not only important for the country, but it's important globally. It's something which the regulator would also really want that we take this ahead. But I think the whole aspect of how you have conceptualized this is very important. And we in the Department of Biotechnology, in our public sector, BIRAC, have been putting major focus on this. That whenever these startups or the scientists would like to implement their technology for a particular product, you must look at the user need. And in fact, we support a lot of programs for what we call clinical immersion. The clinical immersion that we do under a program which is very similar to this, and that is the societal program called SPARSH, where we set up these SPARSH Fellow grants, is so that these startups can actually spend about 3 to 6 months with the doctor, with the clinicians to understand what their needs are. And then they should tailor their requirements and innovations based on the needs of these doctors. This is exactly what you have done here. And you have brought along with you the team of doctors. And I see that your team comprises surgeons, you have a radiologist, scientists, of course, and engineers. I mean, that is the right way to move ahead. Today, this facility that you have launched, which I have been very pleased to inaugurate, is now really the step in which you will look at the commercial production, a GMP credited facility. And I think for a country like ours, today we are looking at more and more of such facilities coming up within the startup industry group in close collaboration with the either the academic institutes or the hospitals. Because if you have startup innovations in isolation, there is a whole phase of translation then where you have to go and look for clinical partners. You have to convince them that your technology is okay. Then you have to identify a GMP lab where you could validate it, clinically validate it. Only then would it become applicable. And we lose a lot of time. We have seen that in many instances, wonderful ideas have taken so very long to reach the final stage only because we have not been able to find the right partners to go ahead. So I have to compliment your team for coming together right in the beginning. And I hope that with this facility that you're setting up and the path that you have chosen to take this forward for product development, is going to now rapidly move ahead, and you should be able to take it. I also see in your papers that I read that you're wanting to use this as a service facility. That's your business plan. And you have already been able to culture the cells. Working closely with the hospital is now what your next step is, and you will be able to take it forward. Let me just share this with you that the Department of Biotechnology and you yourself are a beneficiary of the BIRAC grant, so you know BIRAC. I don't have to tell you what BIRAC does. But our focus is that how do we facilitate through financial grants, but we also provide a lot of mentorship. And Dr. Rita Mulherkar, who's here, has been a mentor for many, many startups through our projects. She's been part of the evaluation committees for many years. I think since SBIR got launched way back in 2007, she has been one of the founder expert panel members with us. So she knows what it is, how the mentorship goes on. In addition to that, we have also, through the National Biopharma Mission, set up a whole lot of shared infrastructure facilities. Primarily because while you have set up this wonderful GMP facility today, I hope you can get all your necessary clearances very quickly, and this can now be moving towards the products which you will be able to take up for clinical trials and subsequently for application. But in this journey, there are requirements of various components. Today, in these COVID times, we realized where the gaps were. So whether we were setting up the cell banks, or we were setting up GMP facilities as shared infrastructure, cell repositories, looking at animal challenge facilities, looking at clinical trial networks, we have actually been able to create this whole ecosystem in connecting with the research groups, etc. I would suggest that in your path forward, you should stay engaged with BIRAC, yes, of course, through the financial grants that you are seeking, but also beyond that, in terms of how they could facilitate your whole path for taking it through the regulatory process. Because for us today, it is not important that you just have a product at the end of the day. It is the speed with which you can bring out quality product. Because today, now, it's actually a race for us to be able to bring in affordable products at the quickest pace with the best quality. Under the Atmanirbhar Bharat program, we are not looking at only having self-reliance for the country. We are actually looking at bringing India at par with the global best. So you have to look at capturing global markets. So I like to stop here by congratulating you, wishing you all good luck in this wonderful path of journey that you have forward before you, and also to say that this partnership that you have built between the hospital, the clinical researchers, you must take it forward with, once you've standardized this, use this facility for more products, and maybe at some point of time, use it as a service model for, as an infrastructure for other startups who may also want to come and use this. So congratulations. Thank you so much. All good luck for your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Renu Swarup, for your kind words and your encouraging words. This is really a big day for us, and we are so happy that you could join us and be with us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All the best. Please
Thank
convey
you so
my
much.
apologies to Dr. Kakodkar.
Yes, I will. Thank you. So now we shall play a small video to take you on a virtual tour of the facility. Namaskar. I'm Rita Mulherkar. I'm one of the directors of Samarth Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited. Today we are here in a small town called Savarde, which is located in Chiplun district, Ratnagiri area. It is about 250 kilometers away from Mumbai as well as from Pune. We are here at the BKL Valavalkar Hospital, which is a 500 bedded hospital in the Konkan area, in the rural area, and it has state-of-the-art facilities. And now we are going to add another state-of-the-art facility, which is a GMP compliant therapeutic cell culture facility. This exclusive facility has been built to manufacture clinical grade cells which are from the patient's tissue, and they go back into the same patient. So this requires GMP or good manufacturing practices, in which certain norms and certain activities have to be followed. And this has been taken care of while building this facility. The entry into this GMP facility is restricted to authorized personnel only. Now, Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, the renowned spine surgeon, will tell us what we propose to carry out in this GMP facility.
Back pain is a universal problem that is vexing the world. Long hours spent in sitting and bending over mobile devices is increasingly damaging the spines, especially in the young people. The commonest cause of spine problems is sciatica, slip disc, or herniated disc. Disc is a cushion that makes our spine flexible and at the same time very strong. We perform endoscopic discectomies in Derwan for a long time. The peculiarity, the uniqueness of this procedure is we do it under local anesthesia through a tiny hole that does not even require a single stitch. It allows immediate recovery of the patient. Naturally, because of this, over the last several years, we have been trying to improvise methods to allow rapid recovery of functionality in these patients. Knowing this, we introduced the Derwan plug about 5 to 6 years ago, which is now being used by a lot of other surgeons. Further research has now culminated in us being able to recover regenerative cells from the disc fragments. So we have just had a surgery performed. So normally when we do a discectomy, we collect the specimen in a tube, put it in a cold storage box, keep all the patient's details, and then transfer it to the tissue culture lab. So this is the tube in which we collect the tissue. Dr. Sumit, my colleague, we perform surgeries together. He will, Sumit, can you show them the instrument?
This is the transforaminal which we routinely use for the surgery, and this is the forceps with which we can collect the tissue and we put the tissue inside this container.
Most important part is it is like blood transfusion. So getting the identity label 100% right is very important. So we make sure by 2 or 3 checks that we have got the information about the patient and the tissue labeled very correctly, and then put it in the cool box with the patient information sheet and transfer this tissue to the tissue culture lab.
The entry into the GMP facility is through the operation theatre area, where the personnel enter into the operation theatre area, change from their outside clothes to the sterile OT clothes, and then they walk through the corridor to the GMP facility, which is located at the end of the corridor adjacent to the operation theatre. The biological material like the tissue, blood samples, consent form, etc. are placed in the dynamic pass box, and the personnel enter in through the change room 1, where they don a sterile gown, and along with that, of course, the cap, mask, etc. And then they enter into the preparatory room. In the prep room, the personnel then remove the tissue from the dynamic pass box, the consent form, etc. And then they fill in the data into a computer. The personnel then place the tissue in the second dynamic pass box, which is between the prep room 1 and the process room 1. And the personnel themselves have to go through the change room 2, where they remove the gown and wear a PPE suit and cross over in an appropriate manner to enter into process room 1. In the process room 1, the tissue is removed from the dynamic pass box and it is processed under a laminar flow hood, which is a BSL 1-2 cabinet. And the tissue is then incubated in an enzyme, which is then placed in the CO2 incubator for some time for digestion. The digested tissue is then taken and plated in a 6-well plate and again incubated further till sufficient cells are grown. The cell growth is monitored from time to time by visualizing the cells under a microscope and photographed. In the process room 2, blood and serum etc. are processed there by centrifuging the blood and separating the serum as well as preparing platelet lysate, which is used for growing the cells in culture. When sufficient cells are grown, they are then passed on again through the dynamic pass box outside, and the cells are then taken to the operation theatre room where they are injected back into the same patient.
In order to be able to return these cells to the native environment, the facility requirements are very strict so that we do not have any adverse events. We are extremely proud to have such a facility in a remote rural location, which is one of a kind.
With this state-of-the-art facility, we hope to provide inexpensive and effective treatment to our patients in rural India.
I hope you all enjoyed this virtual tour of GMP compliant therapeutic cell culture facility. Dr. Rita Mullerkar Madam will now introduce our guest of honor, Dr. Anil Kakodkar Sir.
To introduce Dr. Kakodkar is a formidable task, and that too in such few minutes is almost impossible. So I'll make it really very brief. Padma Vibhushan Dr. Kakodkar is former director of Bhabha Atomic Research Center and chairman Atomic Energy Commission. He was former secretary to the Government of India, Department of Atomic Energy. He was GAE Homi Bhabha Chair Professor and INAE Satish Dhawan Chair of Engineering Eminence. Currently, he is AICTE Distinguished Chair Professor and Chairman Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission. Dr. Kakodkar has worked for the development of the atomic energy program in India throughout his professional life. Focus of his work has been on self-reliant development of nuclear reactor systems to address the Indian program requirements. Utilization of our vast thorium resources for energy production has received special attention from Dr. Kakodkar's leadership. He has created a roadmap for the power program aimed at tapping vast energy potential of our thorium resources, not only as a source of electricity production, but also as a primary source for other forms of energy use. There is hardly any aspect of India's atomic energy program that has not been a significant impact of Dr. Kakodkar's leadership. As we all know, Dr. Kakodkar has been a key contributor to India's strategic nuclear program. Dr. Kakodkar presently has been propagating the concept of SILAGE, a knowledge-based ecosystem for bringing city and village gaps technology and enabled sustained development in rural areas. We are very fortunate to have Dr. Kakodkar as the chairperson of our scientific advisory committee at BKL Balavalkar Hospital and Medical College. May I now request Dr. Kakodkar to deliver his much awaited address. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay.
Yes, sir, we can see you and we are audible.
Thank you. Well, it's wonderful to be with all of you on such an important occasion. Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, Director, Samartha Krupa Life Sciences. Dr. Rita Mullerkar, another director of this new venture, and Mr. Vikas Valavalkar, who has been a solid pillar behind all this transformation that we are seeing in and around Savarde. I'm also very happy to see Dr. Padmanabhan, Dr. Banavali, Dr. Surendra Ghaskadbi, and many others in today's program. My greetings to all of you. let me, of course, Dr. Renu Swarup, who just inaugurated this facility, and we heard her speech. She's, in spite of her commitments and some last minute commitment which cropped up that prevents her to be with us at this moment, but she did her part about half an hour earlier, and I think that's great, and uh, certainly we should express our gratitude to her uh, for uh, for uh, for that gesture. Uh, I'm a fan of this institution, the Valavalkar institutions around in and around Savarde, the hospital, the medical college, the schools, the community outreach, agriculture, and so on and so forth. There are so many of these activities. And Dr. Urna Patil, the medical director of this hospital and medical college, who unfortunately is tied up with another program which is running concurrently. But she once told me, in the context of my passion for silage, that Savarde, where this all began a few decades ago, where you heard different dimensions of this program from Mr. Vikas Valavalkar. Uh, Today, the nearest big town is Chiplun, and Savarde is a small place around Chiplun. But today, economy of Savarde is actually bigger than Chiplun, which is the city which we all know. And, normally, the migration takes place from villages to cities. Savarde is a place where people from Chiplun buy real estate at Savarde instead of buying that at Chiplun. So to me, it looks like what more proof and what great example you need for the concept of silage. Actually, it validates this whole thing out of the work of all colleagues present there at Savarde and the Valavalkar institutions, working incessantly for several decades. And there are multifaceted programs. This is not the time to recount those things. Some of it has been done. But I can't help recounting the activity which is happening there in the context of nutrition, which Sri Vikas Valavalkar referred to. But more importantly, in the context of nutrition among the adolescent girls, and the aspect of tracking the nutrition issue uh, to the babies born to these girls and their health status as they move to the adulthood, and the linkages with their development, and some of the issues related to non-communicable diseases, diabetes, hypertension, and so on. And I think it's very creditable that this institution in a remote area has embarked on conducting such a very long-term epidemiological study, because something where unless you do work for 25, 30 years, you will not be able to make up anything out of the data that you collect, and that has been the reason why many funding agencies were reluctant to support such a study, because how can you think of doing this over a period of such 25 years, 30 years, when everything we do in project mode, which have a life of 3 years or 5 years. So, the coming back to what I said in the beginning, I am a great admirer of this institution, BKL Valavalkar Institutions and Trust, with Sri Vittalrao Joshi Charitable Trust, who are doing this all by themselves. And I remember actually I got familiar with this institution when long time back Tata Memorial Hospital was conducting uh, a lot of surveys related to cancer in that area. It was a major effort. And at that time, I remember the local people there, not at Savarde, but even interior in the Sayadri Hills, around 20-25 kilometers to the east. Some of the families there, they told me that when the people from this survey project and their jeep, they went there in their jeep to their place and to their houses, and this was sometime in early 2000. So it was certainly more than 50 years after independence. But they said that that was the first sign of any coming to their doorsteps. So that is the importance of activities of this trust. Now, coming back to the facility proper, which we just heard from Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, the therapeutic cell culture facility in the scientific advisory committee has been giving us updates on a regular basis on how this research has been moving forward and how Dr. Rita Mulelkar and Dr. Nadkarni and their complementary capabilities working together, and of course with several other colleagues and several other institutions, uh, has kind of they you can imagine that doing such a thing in a small place has its own challenges, but they have overcome all those challenges and brought us to that. And I'm very, very proud that the at the hospital and medical college there, which is known being a rural institution, it is known to provide state of art facilities and state of art services. And this is one additional thing which would be a major contribution to, and I do hope, and I'm 100% sure that the way the experts in all fields, they have been kind of committed to this program. Uh, Weekends they come to this hospital and to the medical colleges, carry out several surgeries, several interventions for the poor people who cannot come to cities, so that it gets state of art facility at their doorstep. And looking at the research which is coming up there, and the research which is kind of adding new dimensions to such a facility, I think it's an example worth emulating across the country. I have no hesitation in saying that. The spine surgeons like Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, and of course there are many other people with specialty in different areas, and they are all making this available to rural patients right in their close proximity. Dr. Banawali is sitting there amongst us, and he once told me that doing research, of course, he belongs to domain of cancer research, but he once told me, and Dr. Banawali, pardon me if I am not accurate in my work, but what I could make out was that working in rural areas and working in a place like Mumbai, Tata Memorial Hospital in Mumbai, it has kind of, you are used to evolving treatment protocols based on experience that you get. But working in rural areas and based on experience you get there, particularly the challenges before the patients and poor families and all, and so that has helped evolving a somewhat different protocol for treatment. And that actually is an important contributor to research for advanced treatments in a poor country, in a country which has a large rural population, many people, they cannot access to the state of art facilities in cities and whatnot. But uh, quite apart from making this facility available to people there, this is actually contributing to new research, new understanding, and also the new way how one can manage the health challenges in this country. And so I think hosting research in a place like this and pursuing this, and that does not mean that if we are doing something in a rural area, we talk about diluted research or a low level research. We're talking about state of art research, but rooted in that place. And I think there are not too many, but some very good examples in our country. And I think this needs to grow, because otherwise we have become a country which can boast of health tourism, and people from all over the world wanting to come to India for their treatment because it is cheap and because it is very cost effective from their perspective. But at the same time, when you look at it on a global scale of any health related comparison among countries, and you find that India is way at the rock bottom. And I think it is in that context that we need to do things differently. And what is happening at Valavalkar Hospital and Medical College, and also the related institutions, the education, the sports, the nutrition, other outreach activities, including agriculture and so on. So I think this is that integrated approach is very important, and that should somehow get into our development strategies. And it doesn't cost more money. It's actually cheaper to do so, provided we have dedicated people. Now you can't expect normal tendency is you get highly qualified people tend to go to cities or even abroad. Uh, but there are passionate people. There are so many of them coming to us, to Valavalkars every now and then. So you can actually get the best of treatment, and you can get specialist in any area, even in that place. So I will close by again narrating Shri Vikas Valavalkar when he told me his experiences about setting up the medical college. Now, this clearly is a rural medical college in a rural area. Now, when they were looking for the approvals from the authorities, one of the conditions they said that any medical college has to have a rural outreach center. And it was very hard for me to digest that, well, you have such a big medical college itself right in a rural place. Now, how do you create an outreach center? So believe me, this medical college, of course, people sitting there, I'm telling you, but at least to some people who are in the video conference, they may not be aware. But believe me, Valavalkar Medical College and Hospital had an outreach center at Chiplun, which is actually a bigger place. So you can look at it whichever way you like. But I think this is an important trend in taking development of the country forward. And I wish to compliment the entire institution, the Valavalkar Medical College and Hospital, the Vittalrao Joshi Charities Trust, and indeed everybody associated with them. And of course, more particularly in the context of today's facility that has been inaugurated, therapeutic cell facility, and the three directors of the Samartha Krupa Life Sciences Private Limited, Dr. Sunil Nadkarni, Dr. Rita Mullerkar, and Mr. Vikas Valavalkar. Congratulations to you and all the best for your higher and higher successes in years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kakodkar, for your very encouraging words. And thank you once again for sparing your time to be with us today. It means a great deal for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we move on to the next, on the agenda, we have the vote of thanks. I'll be delivering the vote of thanks, which is a pleasant duty for me to do. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Kakodkar and Dr. Renu Swarup for sparing their valuable time and gracing this inauguration when they accepted our invitation and for their kind words of encouragement. I would like to thank all the invitees and well-wishers who have joined the function today, Dr. Padmanabhan, Dr. Dev, and many others who have joined this function. We are really fortunate to have the blessings of respected Sri Kaka Maharaj for believing in us, in our ability to carry out this work. Sri Vikas Valavalkar sir has always stood behind us and supported us for all our requirements. He also made sure that this inaugural function was a great success. Invaluable support from Dr. Suvarna Patil, Medical Director, BKL Valavalkar Hospital, who unfortunately could not be with us today because there's another very important function going on. Anyway, I would like to thank Dr. Suvarna Patil, Dr. Netaji Patil, and the hospital staff who have really helped us in all ways. I would like to mention here that we started off with a small tissue culture lab, which we designed and we made in the beginning, which had the air handling unit and restricted entry, etc. And here Mr. Mahajan and his team and Dr. Netaji Patil were a great help. And our in vitro work of culture started in this small facility. But we soon realized that we need to have a GMP grade facility if you want to do any clinical work. Of course, Dr. Nadkarni at that time received a biotechnology ignition grant from BIRAC, which helped us in procuring some of the basic equipment. Soon we realized that for clinical trials, as I said, we need a GMP compliant cell culture facility. I was fortunate to have friends like Dr. Naren Cherbule, who was the R&D Vice President at Biocon, and who introduced me to Mr. Sirsi and his team for constructing the GMP facility. We were very apprehensive about approaching Mr. Sirsi, as ours was a very small project compared to the big projects like Immunil at Biocon that Mr. Sirsi was handling. But Mr. Sirsi very gracefully accepted my invitation to come to BKL Valavalkar Hospital, and this was just before the lockdown in March 2020. And he said he was impressed with the dedication of the people working here and decided to help construct a GMP facility at an affordable cost. There were delays due to the lockdown and his people coming from Bangalore, but finally the facility was completed without our having to complain about anything. We are really grateful to Mr. Sirsi and his team. When we decided to have a virtual inauguration of this facility, TCCF, I had butterflies in my stomach. Which app should we use, Zoom or Google Meet? Would our bandwidth be able to support the program? How should we prepare the facility video? What if there was power failure which is quite frequent in this area? But all this was put to rest by the efficient team of people here. Saket and Amol from Mumbai were very professional in their approach in making the video in our facility, and that too right in time. Thanks to them, we had a short film ready. Mr. Yogesh Vichare was efficiently making all the nameplates, boards, and invitations at Pune. The IT team at BKL Valavalkar Hospital Mr. Mungekar and Rishikesh took care of all the IT problems. And a great support behind all this right from the beginning was Mr. Amit Sarvi. A big thank you to all of them. Finally, a small team at SKLS, Simran, Seema, Tanishka, Dr. Rohit Bhatt, and of course our very busy surgeon, Dr. Natkarni, all were always there to help. Thank you all once again for joining. Thank you. We end the program here, and thank you all once again for joining.
Thank you.
All the best.
All the very best. All the very best.
Thank you. Very nice function.